Now that we've powered back, welcome back to some more Scrap Mechanic Survival. I'm StormRunner Gaming, and today, if you guys haven't already started looking around, you'll probably notice a few changes since my previous episode in the game. And that is kind of because I did a little jump forward, per se. I did record a ton of the stuff I was doing in-game, but later on, trying to edit through, well, not gonna lie, hours of footage, I realized a lot of it was more farming and not as interesting things. So here I am a couple days after that, and I kind of want to just recap and then go into some of the automated farming. So real quick, we do have a couple different vehicles in the fleet now. We've got my piston engine truck, which I do keep on that lift just because it is a little bit laggy, and you can probably tell why. It's got a full V8 on the front end. If I zoom out here, you can see it does work okay, but there's a problem with the bearings breaking on the back end that makes it kind of useless. It takes all of the torque that it could possibly have and kind of just throws it in the garbage can. So I'm going to eventually be taking my big dually here and switching it over to a gas engine I've got on the rear end here. So that's something we can look forward to in the future. And since I've been, swimming around for years and years here to get enough glue for logic, because that's a problem in game, I've got just a little bit of fuel for StormRunner 1 here, which is my main farming bot. It'll do trees, it'll do rocks, it'll paint a fence if you want it to. It won't actually paint a fence, that was just a joke. But that's been my latest and greatest design in farming technology here. I mean, just a ragtag design with actually a refinery on the back end, so I can stay out for a little while, collecting resources. And the rest around base, I set up a couple of chests to automate, building whatever I need. So if I want to automate crafting metal here, I can do that on a constant loop until we run out. But I don't want to make that much, but a ton of other resources. But the main thing I've been building and designing around the base is my little farming castle, or at least that's what I call it over here. And all the brick is just came from, mining brick with StormRunner 1 over there. And you can already notice I've started a little bit of automating farming. And you can see there's no plants in here right now. That is because I did turn off the main, like the 3 wide. I don't know what I'm calling the larger farm right now, but this is my main automated farm. And I do have to give a little bit of credit to some other people I learned some stuff about. Like, I watched one of Moonbow's episodes learning that the plants have the 2 different hitboxes, one of them for when it is planted and one for when it is fully grown. So that kind of helped me design my own planting system with, the 3, or actually 6 pumps on here. 3 to plant in that row, and then 3 to pull up. And there is, just a little bit of logic that goes with it. And actually, I did disconnect a few things from the, array of designs up here that I will reconnect here. But this isn't really important. I turned it off just because the game, if you guys haven't played it already, you get the raids, which I've just more recently figured out get more and more difficult every night. Well, I kind of realized after a little while, but I've noticed they just get horrible after a little while with up to something like 10 hay bots coming at you. So I had to turn it off for a few nights, and I haven't turned it back on yet. But that's kind of my large-scale automated farming. I wanted to go through just the basics of automating farming with you guys with this little setup right here. And you can see the beautiful little potato plant here. So I'm going to scrap this, and we're going to build it from the ground up again. So the first part, I started with the automated farming. I realized that you don't even need pumps for water to be moved over to the sprinklers, or what I'm calling sprinklers is actually the water cannon. So if I say that on a later date, just know I mean water cannon. But to connect up the water cannon, all you need to do is, of course, use your connector tool and connect it up, but you don't need any piping to go around. So if you put this on any structure you want to put automated farming on, you can kind of just connect it with a little bit of wood, or even put it on a existing wall next to the water and, just drag that line over there. So that's kind of what I've done for actually both sides of the water production here. And that's kind of where we're going to start here. Well, of course, you guys are going to need to build this. If you're following along building your own, one plot automated farm, you're going to have to first put a water jug and a pump under that. And, just connect the pump up with a single switch. So, I mean, you can constantly keep this on. It doesn't use power or anything. It's actually a pretty good system. But you're going to want to find some level ground for the system, because I did test it, and the sensor array that I'm going to be using for this 1x1 farm doesn't work on uneven ground. So you're going to have to get a little bit of distance between you and the water. So, of course, the first thing we need to get down here, just a little bit of soil. And I'm actually going to move that over 1 or 2. And then kind of just get some water that is able to spray onto that. You might want to have a wall right behind that so that the water hits that. And one way you can test, I apologize I don't have one, I can actually just strip it off of there real quick. But if you take a switch and connect that up to the water, and then connect your water up to the storage, you can test real quick and see if the water is actually going to, water the plot there. I don't know why that made me stutter so much, but anyways, let's connect that back up. So of course, whenever that pump over there, the sprinkler, or the water cannon, geez, my mind's going everywhere. Once the water cannon uses any water, this will just constantly pull more in. But enough about the watering system. Let's get to the main little mechanics of this farm here. So the thing that drives, basically all of the logic here is just 2 sensors. And what you're going to want to do is put 1 block on the ground, or a line like I've done, and then you're going to want a sensor on this row, and then build it up 1 more row above that, and then a sensor up there. So that's basically 90% of the logic you need. You do also need 1 logic gate and 1 timer, but I'll get to that system in a little while, and I'll kind of explain it as well why it is needed. So the 2 other systems you're going to need for this are those 2 pumps that are either going to be, putting the seeds in the ground or picking them up later. So I've done the ones that put the seeds in the ground above it, and the ones that are picking up later, on the ground in front of it. And then of course we're going to need 2 of the, I think they're higher level chests or something, so that they can collect everything. And technically this system would be infinite, but I don't know how you can get seeds back from this chest up to the top one. If there is any way to sort them without getting rid of the stuff you've produced down here, let me know in those comments down below, because if there is a way to do that, I guess you could technically make it an infinite farm. But for now, we're just going to say it's a finite farm with the amount of seeds you put on the top end here, which is going to be this chest we're connecting up right now. And what we're going to do now is just put a seed, or as many seeds as you want, of whatever plant you want to automate into this large chest up here. And now that we've got that done, we're going to connect a few things together. Like I said earlier, we're going to want to connect up these guys, first taking that logic gate and creating a NOR there. And we're also going to want to put a little bit of delay on this timer here. And I'll explain the timer right now. It's basically because when the catching system here, when that is connected up to this, we actually have to have a little line of wood to be able to connect it up. Just hit the top of that chest. So now it's connected, and we can connect the logic up to that. Basically, once this sensor sees that it's fully grown, it'll turn on this, pulling it into the storage over here. You know, taking the potatoes and seeds, or whatever else, whatever fruit you're growing, and the seeds into this chest here. So that will pull it, but if you put this sensor directly up to this one here, or if you put that to a NOT gate and up to that, it'll try to plant right as this pulls, and then it won't work. So what I've devised for this system is you connect that up to a NOT gate, and then you connect that up to a timer, which goes to that guy. So it'll wait the 5 seconds or so to plant another thing here. And the other thing you want to connect up to this bottom sensor, or excuse me, to the timer, is that, is that water cannon on the side here. So that is about everything for your little automated farm. It should run as long as you have seeds on top of here. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anything. One other thing I don't exactly know about, I've gotten a little bit more and more fertilizer from attacking the towers and whatnot in the game, but I don't know if you can just drop it in these chests and it'll use it after it uses a seed or something, or would I need another system to do that? If you guys do know about using fertilizer with the pumps and stuff, leave a comment down below. It'll definitely be a learning experience for me, as well as probably other people watching the video, so it'd be great help. And of course, for the main event, I don't know why I have 2 wooden blocks. Maybe they went to the little farm down there. Oh well. But the main event we've got up here, the huge farmer, which I didn't even need to bring seeds up for apparently. It might actually, geez, it has a lot of potatoes in it. I think I've been taking seeds and dropping it in the other chest, but let's get this thing on the road here by turning on both of those systems. So now we'll see this entire thing planting all of those rows there. As you can see, ooh, I forgot to, I need a little bit of wood here. This system works by a similar thing that Moonbow did. He had 2 different things that would tell, or 2 different sensors, excuse me, that would tell the system to plant and water around here. So now that we're putting these on, it'll tell it to plant and water while it goes by. As you can see, it's doing that on the way back as well because it isn't planted yet. And now that all those sensors are on, this array of NOR gates, or the opposite, is telling the system not to run anymore. So it basically will sit around until it sees that they are all fully grown here. At least one row is fully grown, and it'll go out and pick up that row. And once that sensor is turned off, it will go back, and then the next cycle it goes back out on, it'll plant those seeds and water that row as well. So I think it's a pretty nifty system going along here. The big problem, yet again, like you can see with the timer in front of me, the farm bots constantly attack me with this system here. So this is where I am going to be ending this episode. If you guys do have any questions about automated farming, how to get your first one started, if you do have any problems, anything like that, leave a comment down below. Hopefully I can be, some help to somebody out there in this game with all the knowledge I've figured out here. But yeah, that is where I will be ending this episode. So of course, if you guys did like this, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel to stay up with Scrap Mechanics Survival and more of my content. But I've never been great at goodbyes, but people need me, and I need to go.